The US election? A global economic earthquake? All right, let's be honest, the words US election tend to send a shiver down the spines of people around the world. It's like that one friend who throws a rager, but you're never quite sure if it's going to end with a conga line or the cops being called. But beyond the political theatre, there's a cold, hard truth. What happens in American voting booths has a ripple effect across the entire global economy. It's interconnected, you see, like that embarrassing photo from your friend's party that somehow ends up on the internet. And this time the stakes are higher than ever.
Now businesses, they crave stability like a vampire craves. Well, you know. Stability is the bedrock upon which companies build their strategies, make investments, and plan for the future. Without it, the entire structure can feel like it's built on quicksand. When the US election results in a clear winner and a relatively smooth transition of power, it sends a signal to global markets, a signal that says, hey, everything's under control. This assurance can be the difference between a market that's jittery and one that's confident. Don't worry, we're not about to drive the economic ship into an iceberg. A smooth transition is like calm seas for a ship. It allows for steady navigation and forward momentum. This stability can lead to increased foreign investment as businesses feel more confident about parking their money in the good old US of A. When investors see a stable political environment, they're more likely to commit their resources, knowing that the rules of the game won't change overnight. It's like the difference between leaving your savings in a bank versus, I don't know, hiding it under your mattress. One option offers security and potential growth, while the other is just a temporary and, frankly, risky measure. One just feels a tad more secure, wouldn't you say? Security and predictability are the lifeblood of economic growth. They allow businesses to plan, to innovate, and to take calculated risks. But here's the kicker. Even with a clear winner, policy changes are inevitable. No administration leaves everything exactly as it was. Change is a constant, but the nature and extent of that change can vary widely. The real question is, how drastic will those changes be? Will they be incremental adjustments that fine-tune the existing system? Or will they be sweeping reforms that overhaul the status quo? Will it be a gentle course correction or a wild swerve into uncharted waters? The answer to this question can make or break market confidence. Because let me tell you, the global economy is holding its breath. Investors, businesses, and governments around the world are all watching closely, waiting to see what the future holds. The stakes are high, and the impact of these changes will ripple across the globe. So, while it's important not to rock the boat too much, some waves are inevitable. The key is to navigate them wisely, ensuring that the ship stays on course and reaches its destination safely. In the end, it's all about balance. A steady hand on the wheel, a clear vision of the horizon, and the ability to adapt to changing tides. That's what will keep the economic ship sailing smoothly.
Trade deals. The words that can spark more heated debates than a family Thanksgiving dinner. These agreements are the lifeblood of international relations, shaping the economic landscape of nations and influencing global politics. They can bring countries closer together or drive them apart, depending on the terms and the players involved. The US election has the power to reshape these agreements, for better or worse. Every 4 years, the world holds its breath, waiting to see who will take the helm of one of the most influential economies. The policies of the new administration can lead to significant shifts in trade dynamics, impacting everything from tariffs to trade barriers. A new president might decide to renegotiate existing deals or even forge new ones, potentially creating opportunities for some countries while leaving others out in the cold. This can lead to a ripple effect, influencing global markets and altering the economic strategies of nations worldwide. The stakes are high and the outcomes can be unpredictable. It's like a game of economic musical chairs, and nobody wants to be the one left standing when the music stops. Investors, businesses, and governments all scramble to secure their positions, trying to anticipate the next move and adapt accordingly. The uncertainty can lead to market volatility, affecting everything from stock prices to currency values. Now, some argue that more protectionist policies, the America First kind of thing, could disrupt global supply chains and lead to higher prices for everyone. These policies aim to prioritize domestic industries and reduce dependency on foreign goods, but they can also lead to trade wars and retaliatory measures from other countries. Others say it's a chance to level the playing field and protect American jobs. They believe that by focusing on local production and reducing imports, the country can strengthen its economy and create more employment opportunities. However, this approach is not without its critics, who warn of potential negative consequences for international relations and global trade. It's a delicate balancing act, and the world is watching to see which way the scales will tip. The decisions made by the US government will have far-reaching implications, influencing not only the American economy, but also the global financial system. As nations navigate this complex landscape, the challenge lies in finding a path that promotes growth and stability for all.
Let's talk about the Federal Reserve, shall we? This institution, often shrouded in mystery, holds immense power over the financial world. That bastion of financial stability, that group of people who meet behind closed doors and decide the fate of the global economy. They are the guardians of monetary policy, the stewards of economic health. Okay, maybe that's a bit dramatic, but they do play a crucial role. Their decisions can send shockwaves through markets, influencing everything from stock prices to mortgage rates. See, the Fed sets interest rates, and those rates, my friends, have a way of rippling outwards like a stone thrown into a pond. When they adjust these rates, it's not just a number on a chart. It's a signal to the entire financial ecosystem. A change in US interest rates can affect everything from the value of the dollar to the cost of borrowing money in Argentina. It's all interconnected. The global economy is like a finely tuned orchestra, and the Fed is the conductor. And after an election, the pressure is on the Fed to respond to any potential economic uncertainty. New policies, new leaders, and new challenges mean the Fed must be agile and responsive. Will they raise rates to combat inflation? Inflation, that silent thief of purchasing power, can erode savings and destabilize economies if left unchecked. Keep them low to encourage growth. Low rates can spur investment and spending, fueling economic expansion, but they also come with risks. The world waits with bated breath and possibly a spreadsheet or two to see what the Fed will do. Their decisions are scrutinized, analyzed, and debated by economists, investors, and policymakers alike. The balancing act they perform is delicate, and the stakes are incredibly high.
The US is a global energy powerhouse, and its energy policies have a direct impact on global oil prices and the renewable energy sector. A shift towards more domestic oil production could lower global prices, while a push for green energy could spur investment in renewables worldwide. It's a classic case of supply and demand with a dash of environmental concern thrown in for good measure. But let's be real, it's not just about economics, is it? Energy policy is often intertwined with international relations and environmental concerns. Think about it. Who benefits from a shift towards renewables? Who loses out if the US ramps up oil production? It's a complex web, my friends, and the US election could send shockwaves through it all.
Chapter 5. Tech Innovation. The Race for Global Dominance. Silicon Valley. A place where dreams are made, billions of dollars are earned, and the future is being invented, one app at a time. The US has long been a leader in technology and innovation, but other countries are catching up. The policies enacted after the election could determine whether the US maintains its edge or falls behind in the global tech race. Think about it. Government funding for research and development, regulations on data privacy, and immigration policies all play a role in fostering or hindering innovation. And let's not forget about the trade war with China, which has created uncertainty for tech companies on both sides of the Pacific. The stakes are high, and the future of the global tech landscape hangs in the balance.
Chapter 6. Infrastructure and Green Investments. Building a Sustainable Future. Roads, bridges, renewable energy projects. These are the building blocks of a modern economy, and the US election could determine how much or how little the government invests in these areas. Now, increased infrastructure spending could create jobs, boost economic growth, and even address climate change. Sounds like a win-win, right? Well, not so fast. These projects require massive amounts of money, and someone has to foot the bill. Will it be taxpayers? Private investors? And what about the environmental impact of these projects? These are all questions that the new administration will have to grapple with. Chapter 7. The global stock market holding its breath. Let's be honest, the stock market is basically a giant casino for people with too much money and a penchant for risk. But even if you're not a Wall Street tycoon, the stock market can impact your life. See, a volatile market can lead to economic uncertainty, which can then trickle down to Main Street in the form of job losses or reduced investment. Now, the US stock market is the largest in the world, and what happens here tends to have a ripple effect across the globe. A strong US economy usually translates into a bullish stock market, which can then boost markets in other countries. But if the US economy stumbles, well, let's just say it's not pretty. So there you have it. The US election, a global economic earthquake in the making. Okay, maybe that's a bit dramatic, but you get the point. What happens in America doesn't stay in America. It reverberates across the globe, impacting everything from trade deals to energy prices to the future of technology. The world is watching, holding its breath and hoping for the best. Because in this interconnected world, we're all in this together, whether we like it or not.